Welcome to our video lesson in mathematics. Ang ang topic kay decoding factors using factoring. So we'll start with very basic ideas and work examples will be followed. So let's get started. First things first, we must learn what is the essence of factoring, why is it important, and later on we will use this technique in solving word problems. So there are three types of factoring that will be discussed in succeeding videos. One is common monomial factor, two difference of two squares, and finally sum and difference of two cubes. In this video, we will focus on common monomial factor. Okay, now let's proceed to this question. What is factoring? So to make it clear, factoring is just having a product and you have to break it down. As you can see on your screen now, it is a process, a mathematical process. The idea of looking for the factors of the given product. So to give it more details, about this, yun na yung idea niya. Ang factoring yun, given ang product. For example, 3x plus 6 ang product na to. Ang iyang taon is the 3 and the x plus 2. Ang reverse niya kay tawag na to distributive property of equality. Given ang duha ka factors, ang 3 ug ang x plus 2, ang result niya og 3x plus 6. The next question is, what is common monomial factor? Some books refer this kind of idea into greatest common factor. To find these two terms or these two concepts, we can get greatest common factor. In essence, this is the number outside the parentheses. For example, here, concept niya is this, 3ex plus 9dx. Answer niya is 3x times a plus 3b. Ang 3x na kanina nito ang greatest common monomial factor. Kalaman na siya because mga numero ang ato ang nagamit divide sa given na product. There are actually steps na follow on in order for us to arrive to a certain factors. So here's the first step, find the greatest common monomial factor. Second step is to divide each terms using the greatest common factor. So the greatest common monomial factor is very important because in step number 2, it is emphasized that we have to divide it among given terms or between the given terms. The last step is to follow the pattern. We have the pattern here, ex plus bx equals x times a plus b, where x is the greatest common monomial factor. Okay, now this is very common, but this is the point of this video, the work example. The work example number 2, in the first part, this is the product, the 12x squared y plus 6x squared z. This is the product. The answer for this is 6x squared times 2y plus z. Now, what's the point here? This is the answer. Following the steps, we can answer the idea on the question on how our answer is this, or sa atong gibuhat ano mo ito answer. Step 1 is the GCF. Between the 12 and 6, the number that can divide both 12 and 6 is 6. And the common monomial in both x squared y of x squared z is x squared. In step 1, it emphasizes the concept of greatest common monomial factor, which is the 6x squared. As you can see, 6 squared is the number outside the parentheses here. Now, in step number 2, divide each terms using the GCMF. This time, this is very crucial because this is a combination of dividing variables, understanding the properties of exponents. Here, 12x squared y divided by 6x squared. Notice that 12 divided 6 is 2. And as you can see, x squared divided x squared is 1. And the remaining is y. That is why the step 2 gives us 2y. And in the same manner, 6x squared z divided by 6x squared. As you can see, you can divide the 6x squared by itself. We get 1 and the remaining variable is z. That's why here, 2y, z are the two terms. And these two terms is a number, is the factor inside the parentheses. That's why using a pattern in step number 3, we've got 12x squared y plus 6x squared z equals 6x squared times 2y plus z. Okay, let's now have this work example number 3. Let us now focus on the given. The given product is 25a squared b minus 5a to the 4th power c. The answer for this is 5a squared times 5a minus a squared c. The idea now is this. We already have our answer. The question would be how can we arrive this kind of answer? Following the steps, find the greatest common monomial factor is the step number 1. And in this step number 1, we have to look for the terms, the 25 and the 5, and ask ourselves, what is the number that can be divided both 25 and 5? In the step 1, we have here 5 already, because 5 can be divided by 5, and 25 as well can be divided by 5. So both numbers has the common factor, which is 5. Now, next is the common monomial in both terms. So you have here the terms a squared b, the variables, the a squared and the b, and a to the 4th c. So notice that we both have a here and a here. Then the lowest exponent between 4 and 2 is 2. That is why we can use a squared. Combining the two, we have 5 and a squared. You have 5a squared. And that's our step number 1. We already have our greatest common monomial factor, or the group G, C, and F. Now let's have step number 2. In the step number 2, it emphasizes the idea of division, dividing each term using G, C, and F, or dividing each terms using the greatest common monomial factor. What terms are we talking about? We are actually focusing on the product. The two terms here is 25a squared b and e to the 4th power c. So we have to divide each terms by 5a squared. So here, 25 divided by 5 is 5. And a squared is a squared, so that it can be equals to 1. So we have the remaining letter b there as our variable. And the second term is 5a to the 4th power c divided by e to the 2nd power, or a squared. Now, the idea here, if we divide the exponent, we are actually subtracting it, given that we have the same base. So, we have a and a here. So, 4 divided by 2 in the realm of the law of exponent, we are actually subtracting it. So 4 minus 2, we have 2. And 5 divided 5 is just 1, and the remaining is letter C. That is why our answer is A squared C. Combining these two, we got the second factor, which is 5B minus A squared C. And the GCMF is 5A squared. The step number 3 is very clear that we are using the pattern provided by the step number 3. If here the product is equals to the greatest common factor multiplied by the second product. Okay, sa karon na phase sa ato ang video lesson, we will now go to challenge 1. Sa kayo na challenge 1, I just want you to pause for a minute. Pwede pause ang video na to. Think of the answer of this incomplete na problem na given. So, basically, ang buhaton ninyo, mga gatanaw sa video karon, divide or think of an answer of the broad box na nasa screen na naanak sa ito ang challenge karon. So, ang sa inyong tanong, answer nga box, I will give you mga 5 minutes. Just pause this one and think what should be the right answer for this challenge problem. Okay? Please pause for a while the video and think carefully. We're done? Okay. Let's have the answer. The correct answer for this problem, 100AB minus 50BC plus 25BT is using the steps. Basically, you have to use the steps. The answer for this is 25. Why? Why is it 25? Step 1, actually, we have 3 terms here, 150 and 55. The GCMF or GCF for this idea is 25. This is the number that can be divided among the given terms. In terms of variables, the very common variable here in the first term, second term, and the third term is the letter B. That's why the greatest common monomial factor is 25B. And in our answer, the answer is 25. But think of this, step number 2 is connected in step number 1 in such a way that the first term, second term, the third term should be divided by the GCMF, which is the 25BB, and we've got 4A, 2C, and D. And the final step is all about the pattern. So again, step 1, step 2, and step 3. So that's for challenge 1. If you find it hard to analyze, just pause the video and study the given steps and how the answer is this. Just study this one. Okay? Okay, let's have the challenge number 2. The idea here is different to challenge number 1. In challenge number 1, our task there is ato na gikuha ang number niya karon ang variable na pwede itong pangitaon. There are ways on solving this kind of problem, but still you have to follow the procedure, the process. Step 1, the greatest common factor. Step 2 is that dividing the given product or the terms on a given product using the greatest common factor or greatest common monomial factor. And the last step is to use the greatest common monomial factor using the pattern. Now let's have this kind of problem. For you to navigate this one, para makuha ninyo, just pause the video for 5 or 7 minutes or sa umahuman. As long as you follow the steps, these are logical steps, and in order to get the answer more accurately, again, time is still our friend. We can get the accurate answer depending on our time in answering it. So, take your time, pause the video, and go back and pause it as soon as you are ready, 100% ready or sure with your answer. Okay? Welcome back. In this time, we have to answer the problem now. So here is the solution of our answer. Step 1, again, the GCMF. Step 2, divide it by the GCMF, which is, as you can see, the answer is 2. Because 2 is the numerical coefficient that can be divided among the terms, the GCF. And in terms of the variable, we can see here visually that the common among the terms is letter r, the variable r, and the lowest exponent, again, lowest exponent among the 3, 4, and 5 is 3. With that, we can use that kind of information as our step number 1. In our step number 2, we can use the 2r cubed as our basis to divide among the given terms on our product. And basically, if we divide it, we can get the q here, and 2sr cubed divide 2r cubed, we can get the 2rs, because 4 divided 2 is 2. And the last part is this one, 6 divided 2. Again, this is very careful. You must be very careful in answering. 6 divided 2 is what? 3. Very good. So this is intended for you to correct the given answer as well. So here, this is a little bit incomplete, but I'm happy if you spot the right answer with this. So this should be the right answer. And if you find it right in this manner, you are really do the right thing. So congrats for those who got it right. And for those who still need some time to think, I wanna correct it for a minute. This should be 3. And as you can see, still the answer, the product will be given. We are just actually dividing it using the factoring common monomial factor. Okay? If you still have time, please master the steps and understand the process. See you in the next video. Okay, welcome to challenge number 3. And challenge number 3, the target now is the second factor. We already have the GCMF, the greatest common monomial factor, which is 4y to the 5th power. Now, as you can see, visually we can actually solve this one by collecting. So, if you are confident with your skills, just feel free to pause the video and be back if you are 100% sure with your answer. Okay? Your timer starts now, then dispose for a while. Okay. If you're done with your answer, okay, this is the answer, but still, I am encouraging you to follow the steps. Step 1, Step 2, and Step 3. Okay, the answer is this. 2x minus yz plus 3y to the 2nd power. So as you can see, actually we can get it using the given. And if you want, again, step-by-step process, and if you want to see the solution, you can use this idea. Now, basically what happened here is we get the number 4 among the given coefficient or the numerical coefficient. And we get the y to the 5th power using the smallest exponent. Since they are common with letter y, the first term has y on it, second term has y on it, the third term has y, that's why our GCMF has y to the 5th power, because 5 is the smallest exponent among the y here. Now, given this, we can divide it. The 3 terms you can divide using the greatest common factor. Basically, we have to use the steps, and these steps is very logical because we can get the answer for GCMF by dividing the terms by getting the common number and the variable. And the step number 2 is very logical because we will use the step number 1 to answer the step number 2. The 4y to the 5th power. We divide it. We divide 4 with 2. 4 divided 4 is 1. 4 divided 4 is 3. And all of these exponents, again, the law of exponent is very important for you to review and familiarize the steps on this. And finally, the step number 3 is using the pattern and the answers from step 1 in the first part, step 2 in the second factor. So, there you have it. This is the idea. But if you still need time to master this, Just feel free to use the idea on how to solve this for a minute and just digest and process the step-by-step solution. Thank you so much for your time watching the video lesson and see you in the next video lesson. Thank you so much. Bye bye.